Hey yo, we are live with Voices of Revival. I think it's episode 182. I could be mistaken on that. I'd have to double check. We canceled a podcast last night, so I'm not sure. I think it's 182, but I'm confused. So um, here we are, though. We are with Ian Francis and Jordan Gwynn tonight. Um, Trivia question for you, Ian. Right?
Yeah,
You're all like on a wrestling kick right now, right? Like a WWE kick, right?
yeah, I'm on a pretty big kick right now.
Yeah. So I start a lot of podcasts and videos by simply saying, "Hey yo." Do you know who I got that from? You should really be ashamed of yourself. You should be really ashamed of yourself right now.
I just don't want to get it wrong when I guess.
I mean, like either you know or you don't, you
Give me
know?
era. Give me era.
Peak wrestling. 1997. He was a great intercontinental champion. He jumped ship and just completely changed the game. The world of professional wrestling is forever changed by his legacy. One of three men who single handedly made the industry what it is.
John Cena. Triple H. The Rock. Stone Cold. One of these guys.
Let's just move on. Let's just move
Who
on.
was it?
Let's just move on.
Who is it?
It's Scott Hall.
Oh, I wouldn't have got that. Yeah. Wasn't a big Scott Hall guy.
But you should know who Scott Hall is. Like, you can't be a wrestling fan and not know who Scott Hall is.
That's 10 years
Scott Hall
before
is
my time.
arguably
No.
more important than every single one of those individuals you named.
Nah.
No
John
Scott
Cena.
Hall. No Scott Hall. There's no NWO. You remove the NWO out of the equation, there isn't even a playground for John Cena to emerge in. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Hollywood Hulk Hogan are the three. They are the three most influential people when it comes to professional wrestling.
Hulk
Remove
Hogan,
them,
probably.
and the industry probably doesn't even exist anymore.
I give Hulk Hogan one. Rest in peace. I was a Hulkamaniac.
How are you a Hulkamaniac? Were you even born?
I was a Hulkamaniac.
What year were you born?
'07.
He, Hulkamania was dead for like over a decade.
But his legacy.
All
The
right,
legacy.
let's just move on. You're frustrating. All right. So truth, I Hulkamania was not before my time, Ian. Okay. I remember the day that Hulkamania died, and I cried. My papa, my papa sat me down on the couch, and he's like, "We need to have a conversation." I'm like, "Okay." I remember it clearly, like it was yesterday. He's all like, "I need to tell you something. Hulk Hogan, he's a bad guy now." And I cried.
Yeah,
I cried.
got hits.
But then I was corrupted, and I look at that moment as kind of like the moment whenever like I was really corrupted, because like the NWO just became the greatest thing in the world. So you wouldn't understand though.
Doing
2007.
2007. I try to say '07 because I feel like
Hey
that makes it
yo.
sound better.
All right. Let's be productive, gentlemen. Um how many weeks are we into the Awaken project?
2 weeks completed. Third week on the way.
And originally we were just looking at 4 weeks, but things have happened, right? And now there's been another week added on. Talk to us about that. Jordan, talk to us about that.
There's 5 schools in Preble County. We had all of them, and we were waiting for trail, still expectant. never doubted, I would say.
Yeah.
We knew it was going to be approved. It was just a matter of time. And we there were some students that pushed a little further and some organizations that pushed a little further with us and made it happen. So we're excited.
Tell them
You
what that student did.
Yeah, it was one of our youth. It's funny. They went to the board meeting at the school and they gave them 3 minutes to present. And she pretty much, well, at that point, it's kind of crazy too because we were already approved. And so she still went and she just told him how much Awaken has changed her life. And I'm like, that's insane. That's awesome.
who
What'd you say?
I'm trying to think about how to phrase what I want to say. I want to spend a little bit of time on this. I want to spend a little bit of time on this. So, the student whose life has been changed by the Awaken project goes to the school board meeting and she's like, "Yo, like this, like." You say that she says that her life has been changed by this project. Can like I don't know what all you can share, but like walk me through it. Like what's happened in this girl's life?
She hasn't really said specifics,
Yeah.
but the kind of the blanketing coverage of what she said is like these events and just the different like messages and worship she sees that she can be bold in her faith but she can also worship how she's feeling like she doesn't have to contain it necessarily and she said like these messages have revealed like a lot of sin struggle that she didn't even know that she had and she's been able to break chains break generational curses that didn't really even know were there. So it's honestly, it's been kind of cool to see like essentially like her light being lit back up. So yeah.
That's powerful. You guys said that there were students and organizations that pushed for this to be finalized. Was there more students than just this one girl, like, or was it kind of like championed by this one girl?
I would say it was championed by her. However, when we first announced Awaken and that we were going to do it, there was probably 10 to 15 parents that reached out to me and asked immediately, why is National Trail not on this list? And I mean, all I could tell him was, we're still waiting. We're still waiting. And with the help of, it's called Be Tempered, it's a podcast as well, which has some pull in National Trail. They reached out to a couple people and got some things rolling on that side as well. So,
Be tempered. Talk to me about this podcast. I
so
am
I don't
looking
know a
it up
ton
as
about it.
you are talking about it.
It's um, it's local. It's built on faith, family, and what's the other one? I want to say freedom, but I think that's like really cringy. I don't know if that's it though. But it might be. But it's a lot of local people that will go on there and just share their story and how God has moved in their life, and um, it's very relatable, very relatable. And yeah,
Second best podcast I've heard.
the second, yes, absolutely.
Second.
Who runs it? Do you know?
The people that run it, what's his
Is it a
name?
guy
Dan.
named Dan and then another guy named Ben and then
Yep.
another guy named Kevin and another guy named Sean? Okay, I
Yep.
found it. And
Hmm.
is this a Christian podcast?
Yes.
Okay. And they're from Preble County?
I would say most of those people are Preble County local. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Cool. I like this. I like this. So we've got these guys pushing for it. We got students pushing for it. We got parents pushing forward for it. In the mix of this all, something that I come back to is the story of this one girl that championed it. Do you know how much of a difference you can make in something right? When you step forward and it's like, okay, we're drawing a line. Like when one
Mhm.
person steps forward with the mentality to champion something, has a way of changing things. Ian, what are you thinking?
I think that's so true. And you see that time and time again. And I was talking, me and Jordan were talking the other day about like what is this awaken for? Like why are we doing this? What's reasons? What are fruits we want to see out of this? And one of the fruits we mentioned was to empower the students that go to the school to be like, guys, you don't have to um, sit and just watch the enemy rule. You have a say. You have the blood of Jesus on you. You just say, Jesus, the enemy trembles. And we've seen this empowerment in multiple schools. People feeling like, man, I want to do this for my place. Um, it's kind of just like part of the mission, making sure they're not alone. They understand they're not alone. There's people going to war with them. Um, but yeah,
Interesting. I am fixated on this podcast as we're talking. I'm just like digging through their website, looking at everything. It's cool. I like this. Um, so how are we feeling right now? Like we have like two are in the book, three ahead. Mountains have been moved. What originally appeared like a closed door, God has completely kicked it in. The ball's rolling. Like, what are we thinking right now? How are we feeling about things? Like, what is okay? Let me ask this, right? Like, because that's kind of a vague thing to ask. Um, Out of everything that you guys have seen so far, what do you think is the biggest win?
Hmm.
I was zoned out. I had somebody walk in.
You're good. Out of everything that you guys have seen over the course of this endeavor, what would you say is the biggest win?
I would say the what I just talked about is these students being like, okay, I'm fed up.
Yeah.
Like the empowering them, showing them that what we carry once again is greater than anything the enemy can try to do. Getting to watch these students take ownership in their school. Like my school is going to be a place where we don't glorify the enemy, where we don't fall, where we don't
Mm.
look at that stuff, but where we go after God and where the name of Jesus will be proclaimed. Um, that is probably the coolest part to me, and the most because listen, you have an event, the event ends,
Mhm.
but if you can empower the students and show them that they can do this, guess what? They go back into that school on Monday. They're still in that school on Tuesday. You get a little middle schooler, they're going to be in that school for 5 years, right? So to empower them and really be like, listen, guys, go share the gospel. And we've seen that in multiple occasions. So that would probably be mine.
Jordan, I'll throw the same question at you here in a moment, but before I do, kind of piggybacking on Ian there, have I ever told either of you guys about the Azusa Now event in like Cleveland, Ohio? All right.
I don't know.
So probably like say it's probably close to 10 years ago. I don't know. It was some time ago. There was this like big anniversary. It was an anniversary year to the historic Azusa Street revival from back in the day. And on this like year, they did like all of these events across the country, kind of celebrating it. and they did this massive event at the Cavs Stadium up in Cleveland, and it was like pitched as this like massive prayer meeting where they fill out the Cavs Stadium, right? And I go up there with some guys. It was wild. It was wild. Like from like top to finish, it was wild. The entire time though, my heart was absolutely grieved and broken, and I left that stadium absolutely defeated because I knew what was about to happen. What was about to happen was simply nothing. Like, we all came together for this event. We all came together for this event. Like, there were thousands of people there. We packed out like an NBA stadium, right? Like, it was packed to capacity. Like, you couldn't move without running into somebody, man. But like the moment we left that stadium, there was no follow through.
Mm.
Like I remember like leaving that stadium, right? And there were just like people like pouring out of the stadium. It was like a river of people just pouring out, man. Thousands of people pouring out at once. And like we're passing by homeless people and like people in poverty and people that are like all messed up, right? And like nobody, including myself, said a single thing to any of these people. And we all just came together like, God, let revival fall now, revival now, revival now, revival this, revival that. And we left. And we left it in that stadium. Ian, what you're talking about, I think, is the complete opposite of what happened in that stadium. We had thousands of people, but they left it.
Mm.
I think one of the most powerful moments from these past 2 weekends at the end of the Preble County event, Ian, you called for all of the students that were a part of Preble County to like come forward, right? And like you like made the declarations, you made a call to take this and go into the schools, and that the front of that stage was just packed with students exclusively from that high school geared up to draw a line in the sand and take that gospel into that school. Bro, if even like 1%, if just 1% of those students followed through, bro, it's good.
I was thinking I had a stack of these Haven flyers, Brett, this thick. I had kids coming up to me saying, I need more because guess what? I'm going to Walmart today.
Did you get more for them?
Yeah. Kids were coming up to me, hey, I'm going to Taco Bell later. I need more. Kids were doing this.
Radical culture of evangelism. Jordan, when you look at everything, what's the biggest win?
Man, there's so many. I would say the biggest win for this event so far has been not masking, not boxing the Spirit of God. I think that in many events and many things that happen in local churches and in ministries and whatever else, like a lot of times we just want to we want to box the Spirit. We want to condense it. We want to say, okay, this is what's going to happen. And if this doesn't happen, then these things can't happen. But in all reality, these things don't happen unless you let the Spirit move. And I think that's why we've seen this radical, this drastic like changes in people's lives, like and even people that are in youth groups, like we were just watching them talk about like chains breaking and salvations happening. It's because we are allowing the Spirit to move without boxing it in any kind of form. So yeah.
So that seems like a no-brainer, like don't box in God. Let God be God. Man has a way, though, of attempting to box God in. Let God be God and just let God move. With these types of things, I think the real fruit is often not seen in the moment. The real fruit, I think, will be seen down the road. The fact that there is immediate fruit that we're seeing is a very promising thing. I've found oftentimes with these things, though, like the real fruit is seen down the road. For months after the first riverfront event, like the months following it, like I feel like I was just constantly bombarded with testimonies of people being like, "Hey, that event you guys did there, this is what God did in my life there. That event you did there, this is what God did in my life," right? The testimonies just came pouring in. And I would encourage you guys with this, and it goes beyond this, and just kind of like a general truth in life, right? We often look at things and see things in the moment. We see it for what it is currently. We often fail to see the long game, to see the bigger picture, to see everything that God is actually orchestrating. We oftentimes look in the moment and think God is doing something in the moment, when in reality, what He is doing is much bigger. When this podcast first started, there was no vision for what it has become. It has been God every step of the way. I didn't dream up the things we're doing. I didn't like strategically orchestrate things, right? God had a plan that was much bigger than anything that I saw, that I could think, that I could imagine. And I cited how, like in the months that followed Riverfront, there was fruit that just kind of seemed to constantly pour in, right? Like stories and testimonies that just constantly poured in. The support we had for year one of Riverfront was mind blowing. We are, I think, 37 days out right now from year two. And the support that we have going into year two, it is miles beyond where we were a year ago. A big goal that we had for and I'm going to shut up here in a second. A big goal that we had for Riverfront year two, we wanted to double the amount of booths that we had. I think we had like a dozen. We are almost at 30 booths confirmed for the event. So we have well past that goal of doubling the booths. We're potentially looking at tripling them. And like God just continues to line things up in mind-blowing ways for it. Like year one was far beyond anything that I could think or imagine. We set goals for year two that didn't seem like they would be possible, and God has already just completely shattered those goals we had. And I don't know what God's doing. I don't I'm excited to show up and just see what God does. But I say all that to say this, right? Like I don't want to make it about that, right? Like I say all that to say this towards Awaken, right? Like we have clearly seen God do insane things over these past couple of weeks, and we know He's going to continue to do incredible things in the 3 Awakens to come. But don't look small. Don't look just in this moment. Don't look at just what you see now. There's going to continue to be testimonies come in of what God is doing. And like we keep our hand to the plow, right? And we keep digging. Like God is going to take this simple act of obedience and He's going to multiply it. He's going to expand it. He's going to do something much bigger than what we see, think, imagine, right? Like God is operating on a bigger scale than anything that we could even dream. Like His word says, right? His word says that it is not even entered into our thoughts or our imagination what He has prepared for us. Like, do you ever like? Sometimes I stop to just like ponder that, right? Like God, Your word says that what You have prepared for me is beyond my imagination. Okay, and sometimes I question my sanity. Okay, sometimes I question my sanity. My imagination is a little out there sometimes, right? And like His word says that what He has prepared for me, it's more than anything I could think or imagine, you know? And like I'm over here being like, Jesus, I'll just leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that. His word is good. What are you thinking, Ian?
I was thinking about this testimony of this guy. This guy, he's been trying to come to Haven, hasn't been able to, hasn't been allowed to come, and so this kid, he hasn't gone to no church things. Kid's unchurched. He comes Friday night to Awaken, gets saved, gave his life to the Lord. That Tuesday we had FCA, and I'm in the middle of just going at these kids. I mean, like just just hammering, ripping it, as we like to say, ripping it. And so I'm in the middle of it. These doors swing wide open. He marches his way all the way down to me, and everybody turns and looks at him. And he walks up to me. And he gives me a big old hug. He says, "Bro, I love you, bro." He says, I'm gonna be there Thursday." He said, "I'm working on it." And so like to see that, and like everybody would think that's an interruption. Like these doors swing wide open. This guy just stomps all the way down. He was wearing all black, like all this stuff. He stomps all the way down to give me a big old hug and say, he was like, "Bro, this," and then I waited for him to leave, and I said, "Guys," I said, "the same way. You don't know where that kid was Friday." I said, "A lot of y'all thought that was an interruption. That kid came into that place depressed and anxious, on his way to hell, like legit, like addicted. And he walked out of that gym on that Friday night free." And just to tie into like what I was talking about, we were talking about brokenness. And like he came to that place broken, like his home life's horrible. And I said, the same way that young man came out of Awaken on a Friday night. And this is why we're trying to, it's not just Awaken, it's more, right? The same way on that Friday night, that young man gave his life to Jesus and left that gym different. I said, this is the same way you can leave this auditorium different. Same way you walked in. I don't know, it's just running through my mind. That young man just stopped. Like literally, like everybody. And you ask anybody, that's an interruption. And bro just came in because he was just grateful for what God did in his life and just wanted to tell somebody. It's crazy.
He says he's going to be at Haven on Thursday.
What he's saying, I've been messaging him.
Okay. And he hasn't been able to come so far.
Correct.
Okay. Well, okay. I have thoughts. We'll talk about it later, though.
Yeah. And then one more testimony, since we're kind of on this now. My little 8-year-old cousin
Tell me about it.
gave his life to Jesus. He gave his life to Jesus. That little young man, he didn't even know what was going on with it. He just felt the power of God. Like if you were there, you would understand what I'm talking about. He's like, I don't know. He's hands up. Like when I was done praying, and I had to repent of this. Like I was done. I thought he was done. And so like I was like, bro was not done. Bro was not done. Bro kept digging, wanting more. So we come. It was my papa's birthday. That Monday, and everybody that came, he was like, guess what? I got saved. He's telling everybody.
What did your papa have to say to it?
I wasn't there.
No.
I wasn't there.
You know, I was probably about his age when I first had an encounter like that in an altar. I would say that those encounters absolutely set the trajectory of my life, probably more than anything. It was at a youth camp in Lebanon, Ohio. You want to know who my counselor was? Bobby Bailey. Yeah. Yeah, it was a small world. Bobby Bailey was my counselor. But dude, like, I encountered the presence of God in an altar at a young age like that, and it just set the trajectory in my life. Like I've never forgotten those moments. And a lot of times when I'm praying with people and like an altar or something, like I don't know about you guys, but like a lot of times like I'll be praying with someone and it's like, Brad, you should probably say something exhorting or encouraging to this person, right? Like do something useful other than just like laying hands and praying. But like I got nothing, in those moments when I don't know what to pray. Um, there are a couple options when you don't know what to pray. One option though. I oftentimes just pray, Lord, let this person encounter your spirit the way I did in those altars when I was just a little boy. Let them encounter your spirit here in this moment in that same way. And then there's also other things you could do in moments when you don't know what to pray. But yeah, amen.
And I think about this. Some people will be like, oh, he's too young. Oh, 8 years old. I got saved at 7, baptized at 7, haven't got baptized again. When we say like it legit sets the trajectory for everything, it don't matter how old you are, for it. You are never too young, too old to have an encounter with Jesus. And that's what we see. That's what we see. It's what we expect. We don't expect no less than an encounter with Jesus.
So when the prophet Samuel first began to minister in the temple, he was projected to probably be around the age of 5.
That's gnarly.
I'm Googling some things here. How old was Samuel when God spoke to him? I feel like this should be a lot easier. You know what? Why am I Googling? There's this thing called chat. Let's set up
Real
chat real quick. How old
chat.
was the prophet Samuel when God spoke to him at night? I should know this off the top of my head. When God spoke to the prophet Samuel at night, right, when he called him by name, he was between the age of 8 and 12. You want to know what, like, Ian, you've probably heard me talk about this, but when I look at this story of God speaking to Samuel, right, an aspect of it that just kind of like hits me and like makes me like back up a little bit as I weigh how old Samuel is here. The next day, the priest Eli goes to Samuel and says to Samuel, "Tell me, what did God say to you?" So it's not only that God spoke to Samuel between the ages of 8 and 12, right? It's not only that God spoke to him, it's not only that God hears him, but this priest of God, Eli, goes to Samuel to hear what God had said. Like like Eli, this respected priest, has the faith in this young man that God actually did speak to him. Like we know that like God can like move in the lives of these young people in these events. But like are we willing to actually treat them as if it actually is so?
Mm.
Jordan, what are you thinking, my friend?
Mm. I don't know. I I feel like um, I don't know. There's a couple different ways I could go, but just kind of being, I mean, blunt and honest. I feel like these last couple events have been, I mean, they've been so good. And when things are going good for the kingdom, you know, you've got the enemy right behind you always. And so, I mean, I've just really, 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 really been battling with the enemy. Just just these negative thoughts all the time. Not um just I mean, they're all lies and it's not true, but it's just like I'm just thinking like you said, talking about the fruit and how we're gonna see it for years to come. It just I don't know. It's interesting um how much the enemy, and it's not even just like thoughts, it's just like other avenues with like real estate and other things like that, but how the enemy is just like attacking and attacking like family and just so many other things. It's like it's I think it goes to show just that the battle it's a spiritual battle
Yeah.
more than anything.
Um,
um but yeah.
I shared kind of like I've shared some successful elements of previous things I've done. Let me share one that wasn't so successful. And it was successful, but in the moment, in my mind, it wasn't. It was, but it wasn't. And I actually kind of alluded to this to you, Jordan, through text. I told you next time we talk, ask me about, I think, the third encounter. Let me
Yep.
tell you the story of the third encounter.
Okay.
The third
Which one
encounter,
is that?
the third encounter, we probably had the best preacher that we've had out of any of them, right? We had Ian Francis speak, right? And he absolutely killed it. It was the encounter that you spoke, Ian. Um, the service was amazing, right? The service was amazing. Ian absolutely slaughtered it, right? Like killed it. We had a solid turnout, you know. It wasn't the like biggest turnout we had, but like so the first one we did I think was like the biggest one that we've done. This most recent one may have been bigger. The most recent one and the first one, they're pretty close in numbers. We've not done a good job at keeping attendance, and I don't really care about that stuff. But regardless, I'm told that the first one was the biggest one we done. Maybe this most recent one was the biggest one. Whatever. Regardless, it doesn't matter to the story. Good turnout, good service. Um, when you do these events, there are logistics involved, you know. I try and distance myself from the logistics in the moment, right? So like when we do those encounter events, like people pay at the gate, right? There's a certain number we have to hit, right? Like using a facility like that, like it's not free, you know. Um, but like we've got a good relationship with the people there, and we're in a good situation. Shouldn't be any issue at all. And other than the third encounter, right, it's never been an issue. The third encounter, we had issues. Um, as I'm kind of like in the service, like counting how many people there are, I'm like, oh, we're in a good spot, right? And like I didn't think anything about it. In the altar service, our people running the gate come up to me and they give me a report of what the gate was. It was like hundreds short of what we needed. And hundreds short of what we needed. And we had stretched that event as well. We normally do like one cash prize tournament. Like we did two cash prize tournaments for this one. So yeah. So like I get like these reports and we're in the middle of altar service, dude. I instantly go from like high of high to like low of low. And like in the aftermath, I'm like, I don't know what to do right now, cuz like spoiler alert, like this stuff we do usually like we got like no financial backing with anything, like shooting from the hip, right? So like I have no idea what to do. I'm like, this is bad. And like I kind of like there have been some people in the past that told me like, Brad, if you ever like are in a predicament and like you need something, I got you. And like I touched base with like one guy. He's like, yeah, I got you. And then there were a couple other ministries that like that said, hey, we got you if you ever need anything. So I kind of gave them a heads up of what was going on. And everyone's like, yeah, we got you. Fast forward a couple days later, half of the people who are like, hey, we got you, they're like, hey, I'm sorry, actually I'm not going to be able to follow through. And it's just like all this stuff, dude. But eventually, like there were two partners that like locked in with us, right, and carried us through that. But like in the aftermath of that, in the immediate aftermath of that, my flesh response was, I'm never doing this again. I'm done. It doesn't work. And like I was set on it, right? Like we're never doing this again. Forget this. I'm done. I'm absolutely done. We got no support with any of this. We're done. Like it's not happening. Do you know that there are core members of Haven whose yes to Jesus came that night? Lives were changed that night. Like literally like changed. Like some of the most influential people in like what we're doing out at Preble County, like their yes to God came that night. So yeah, in the moment there might be frustrations, but like God's work done God's way will always have God's supply. So yeah, maybe on the balance sheet or whatever, maybe it says I'm in the black. Maybe it says I'm hundreds of dollars short and there's like no partners around to like see me through it. I don't need partners. I don't need man. God is on my side, and when it's done God's way, it will always have God's supply. God will raise up a storehouse to sustain his work. So, in the moment, there may be frustrations, but bro, like we gotta look past those frustrations, and we got to keep plowing. We've got to keep building, you know. And also, I kind of alluded to earlier how like the growth we've seen from like Riverfront year 1 to Riverfront year 2 is insane. That encounter thing was a little piece of the story of everything that has transpired with Preble County. Like it's part of the snowball. Like God's plan isn't about what we're doing. God's plan is this like masterpiece Mona Lisa painting that's just this like snowball ever falling down, rolling downhill, just continuing to get bigger and bigger and compounding and bigger and more massive. And like by the end, like nobody's going to be able to stop it, you know? Like God is building and we're just like little pawns in the mix of it all. And that's probably not the best imagery because we're not pawns. Like we are sons of God, kings and priests. That is right. And joint heirs with Christ. Like, think about that. Joint heirs with Christ. Everything that is his is ours. Gentlemen, as we prepare to wrap up the call tonight, Ian, would you care to just obey God and close this out for the night, my friend?
Yeah. As we ponder on talks about tonight, what something I keep thinking about is just really don't just, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Think of the now. Don't just think of the now. Because what God's about to do, we can't even comprehend. What God is about to do with this stuff, with Riverfront, we can't even comprehend. So we need to be people that's willing to take our hands off, allow God to take full control, and don't get weary about the now. Like if we don't see now results, now things, because he's a strong and powerful God, and he's coming, and he's going to do what he wants to do, what he needs to do. He's all powerful, almighty. What God wants to do, can't even comprehend, and it's just the beginning of what God's about to do in Preble County, in Miamisburg, in Ohio, in the United States, in the world,
Amen.
just the beginning of what God's about to do.
Amen. Amen. Those who hung out with us live tonight, thank you so much. Those watching via replay, thank you so much. Until next time, deuces.